Christmas, and I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and is planning good things for the new year. I haven't done a video in a few days, so I thought I'd check in with you. I'm standing out here in the midst of the big cedars and trying to keep that vision in mind for when we do finally get moving on our house. We did have a couple minor setbacks. Probably everybody knows this but me, but the online plans that we purchased weren't detailed enough for our builder to give us some specifics on costs, and so we're needing to get those engineered first, which of course is additional cost. Ultimately would have been done anyway, but so we're still kind of in a holding pattern. The engineering part of it's probably going to be a month to get that done. So we've just been trying to keep our chin up and keep moving forward. Just been out here on the brush piles that I have and working through those and doing some chipping and making piles here and there and filling up my containers with chips. This morning I was out here and working on brush piles, and it's kind of tricky because the cedar is not a real desirable firewood for folks in our area. So I'm still cutting it up for firewood, but it burns hot and it burns fast, and so it's not good for home burning type wood, but probably good for outside and for the folks that don't particularly care too much. It's a good fit, but for the most part it's not a moneymaker when it comes to firewood. So but I have been working through these piles and pulling out the larger pieces and cutting those into firewood, and then kind of lining up the branches. So these cedar piles that we have all over, cedar tends to be, it's a softer wood obviously, but they tend to get kind of curly when they're growing on the tree sometimes. And this is a good example of, I could see that, but they get so they curl, and which makes them get tangled up in these brush piles. And so you can't really take the chipper out here and just kind of pull a limb out and throw it in there, because they're kind of like a jigsaw puzzle as far as together and locked up. And so what I've been doing is going through the piles and kind of cutting them up in these types of lengths that'll go through the chipper, sorting those first, because I don't really want to do that when the tractor's sitting here running and the chipper's running. And then the pieces that are a little bit bigger, I've just been cutting into firewood, and there's a couple pieces over there, but stacks over here where the chainsaw's at. So I've just been stacking it up, or piling it up I should say, and I'll move those out. I have been giving it away to friends and whatnot for free. I might end up keeping some to do our own little outdoor fire when we get to that point. But just wanted to give you an update on what's going on. Mostly in a holding pattern as far as the house goes, until we can get that bid in and get the plans engineered, and then we will decide whether we're moving forward on the house plan, or we may even be going a different direction. Who knows? We may end up just going with a mobile home or whatnot. Living in the pole barn has its benefits, and it also has its downsides, obviously. The RV's in there, but there's a lot of extra work, including laundry and stuff like that. So things we have to work through, and we're just kind of waiting to see what our cost estimates are going to be so that we can get moving on the house. Hey guys, so I thought I'd show you this poster that I got for Christmas from my daughter. She made it, she set on Photoshop, which I think is pretty cool. So my first official addition to the channel, and obviously it's from our lead-in picture that we often use, but I thought she did an awesome job. It's pretty neat. I want to show that off. Hey guys, so I thought I might try to give you a little little property tour, at least of the part of the property that's on the hillside. We also have property across the street, but the 17 acres that are on the hillside, I thought I'd show those to you. So take a little walk up the hill and I'll give you a little rundown of that. And that was a fall, but we'll enter these pastures and then go up the hill across the way. So the house below is not associated with the property. That's our neighbor's place. This year they did lease this pasture to run their buffalo and llamas on. I saw they butchered the buffalo the other day. So I don't know if they'll be leasing it again this year, or excuse me, next year, but we'll find out. All right, so we entered the gate and now we're in the pasture. And I'm basically gonna take you through this gate down here. We're gonna head up the hill. This hillside is our property, and it goes basically up to a plateau on top where there's another kind of field pasture type area. All right, so we're through the gate, and this is the backside of the pole barn and kind of the backside of the pond area. And the pond is fed by a springs, my understanding, and this water that's running here, it's kind of a little runoff spring area, runs down the hill and all the way down to the neighbor's pond down there. You can see there's more cedar trees here that we had trimmed up all through the property, and my plan is to go through and take out some of these other invasive type trees and leave the cedar and the fir trees, and take out a lot of the blackberries as well. So that's kind of on the back burner agenda. This is the buffalo trail of the recently removed buffalo, and so we'll head up this trail. So kind of a view from here. We're not quite to the top yet, but view of how it looks. So this fence line that's in front of us here, that's the property line. And we're gonna actually take this trail here and go up. This is the hill as we're headed up, and kind of get a little bit of an idea of what's here. Obviously this area next to us, or property next to us, has been logged. This is a field area that the buffalo used to come and graze in. I think it needs to be maybe mowed down and given some love. That's our property line. this fence line here in front of me is also our property line. The cedars that are done on that side of the fence, the neighbor had done this year also. So right after we had ours done, he had his done. Now I'm gonna walk this fence line so you can kind of see where we end up. But we're basically gonna be coming into the back of the pond. Back behind us here, you can kind of see the view. Can't really see any civilization, or at least not much, from the top here. Yeah, so now we'll be kind of descending down the other side. Runs behind where our house is going to be. It runs all the way along the property to the road the other direction. I know it's probably really confusing when you're looking at it on a video, but there is a trail, kind of a game or livestock trail that runs down this fence. This part of the fence is actually in pretty good shape. Get to the other side and not so much. More of the cedars that they climbed and limbed. More cedars. More debris piles. So there's the pole barn, and the pond is just below us here. I mean, obviously there is a fence that runs right along here, which is nice. It runs straight through these blackberries. So, I have my work cut out for me. Take you through the fence and we'll go to the back side of the pond. I'm hoping eventually to dress this up and raise the pond up a little bit. And you can see these are some more of the cedars that were cut. And now we're just going to make our way across and we'll be back where we started. And that was a fall. But, hey, it's live TV, or live YouTube, or at least the fall was. Anyway, so now we're back to the other side, back to my brush pile, back to the back of the shop, and the house site's up there. Thanks for the ride, and probably another day I'll take you across the street. We have 6 acres over there that are on the creek.